Good evening, everyone. Confirm you all can hear me. Let me unmute you momentarily. Yeah. Good evening, all
Yes,
of you. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to mute you all because there's a lot of new students today in the class. We will unmute you when we ask questions and when you are allowed to speak, just to make sure that the class is not disturbed, right? And let's get started, okay? Time to kick off, right? And thank you so much for joining us today. 1st of August, and our original plan was to start the class on 28th July. You know what happened? Yeah, I caught up a viral fever. It was very tough, for the past 4 days. I was like, totally flat, and I was basically getting bed rest. So it's a very difficult virus. I think it's influenza B, influenza type B. That's what the symptoms were saying, like not dengue. Fortunately, if it was dengue, I won't be able to do the class today also. Right, hopefully I have to take like 2 weeks off. Dengue is very tough. And 1 second, okay. So fortunately it was just a virus, but it was so tough, trust me. Even right now I'm not fully recovered, like maybe 70-80%. So we will do the class anyway, and we will try to keep it a little short today because of my health. But the normal class will continue from Tuesday onwards. I will tell you everything, okay? We're just getting started, right? So, like, we already have 100 plus students in this class who are permanent students, okay, who are continuing from grade 10. Some join us in grade 11. So you will also participate today like a new class, okay? It will be a totally new day for you as well. And we have a lot of students joining from outside because it's a free seminar, right? First day is free, so you get a chance to come and experience our class. And if you like to continue with us, you can continue with us from next week onwards, okay? So we have a lot of students like that coming from different areas, different schools, different walks of life, different backgrounds, different, yeah, um, like not grades, but some of you are doing O levels for the second time, I know. So we have a lot of things to talk, right, today. So today is the opening seminar, and let it flow, right? And we will discuss everything today, what we are planning to do this year, and what are we gonna achieve this year, and what we have achieved in the past year, and what are our plans for this year to achieve what we are planning to achieve, right? So it's time to talk about all those things first, and then if the time permits, we are going to start revising grade 10 unit number 1 today, right? Okay, let's see that. Let's see how it goes. All right, so let me introduce the class first. And you know you are not new for online classes. Online classes are here to stay. We started this class in 2021. So you are the sixth batch. You are the sixth O level batch in this class, right? I started this online class with one student in 2021, and 2025 we had 100 plus. 2026 so far we have more than 100, and hopefully it's gonna grow up to 150 plus, I think, this year. And it grows, okay, it keeps growing every year. Even though history is the most boring subject, as you call it, right? Many people say that online is history doesn't work online. There are a lot of things, people are saying for the past 5 years. I've heard so many things, but not in our class, right? Our class, we have produced some of the best results in the country, and we have produced many A passes for the past 5 years, and we're going to continue doing that this year as well. So online classes are here to stay, right? So you are the sixth badge. So very warm welcome to you all for the sixth badge. 4 months to go for the exam, right? A lot of work to do, and we will get started. Okay, right. So today's agenda is very simple. I'm gonna keep it very simple. Okay. First, I told you about the class a little bit. That's enough. More about the class you will know when we do the class in the coming weeks, right? And first things first, we will discuss about our results that we produced last year. And then we will show you, I will show you the target paper that I gave and what actually came in the O levels, okay? Actual paper. So we will do a small comparison on the target paper that I gave and the actual paper that came in the O levels, and we will compare the similar questions in those, okay? Meaning that we have given a good target paper last year. And we will talk about that a little bit, right? And then we have a big task today to do, right? That is, we're going to set our goals, okay? We're going to set goals in the O level history paper. That is a big task that we have today. So to set the goals in the O level history paper, we will learn about the structure of the O level history paper, and I'm going to show you how many marks we are targeting to score from each section to get that A pass in history. That is the main target setting that we do today. That is the main task for today. So that you know where you are going, you know how to score, you know how much to score, how many marks to score from each section to go for that A pass, how many marks you can afford to lose even if you are going for that A pass. You can afford to lose some marks, but what are those areas and everything we're going to discuss today. That is the smart working part. All right, that is basically a little bit of a cheating part. Okay, so after we discuss all these things, I will tell you about the class, how the class is done, right? Yeah, how the class is conducted. Those things we'll discuss, okay? And then finally, if the time permits, we will start revising unit number 1 from grade 10, okay? And then we will do papers on Tuesday, right? Okay, so first of all, before I tell you how the class is gonna work, it's gonna be boring, right? A lot of information. Yeah, no, we will straight away get into the results. What are the results that we produced last year? Everybody are asking for results, right? Everybody want to know results. How about your previous year's results? This is a question that parents are also asking me all the time. So here's the results right in front of you, right? Okay, and I must say that I don't take any credit for these results. All these are hard work of our students, okay? I don't want any credit for that. I have even told the students about these things. I don't want any credit, but I want to show you the results just to let you know that our class is a high performing class. And also, why don't we share results, right? That is our students achievements and we have to celebrate that. Okay, we have to celebrate what our students achieve, right? It's not what I achieved, it's our students achieved. Okay, these results are achieved by our students and I celebrate that. Okay, that is why I show you this, not to brag, not to boast about our results. This year the results are going to be greater than this, better than this, okay? But I don't want any credit for that. I really don't want. I'm not saying I'm the one. This it's because of this class that these students got these results. You can hear that from the students, mouth. That's a different story, right? Students know what they did and how the class helped them, and what are the questions we discussed before the exams. What are the map marking places we gave them, right? Those are different stories. Okay, those things will happen when the time comes. But right now, let's celebrate their results and let's have a target to beat these numbers this year. That is the target that I'm giving you this year, right? So, Pute, out of around 100 students, 96 had sent us results and 51 A passes and counting, right? 51 A passes, and there will be more A passes because we have applied for some recorrections for B's and C's. They're going to get turned up as A passes, don't worry. Within 2 months, we will know about the updated result sheets, right? And then, yeah, so that is what I wanted to share with you. 53% A passes, more than half of the class getting A passes, strong number of B passes and C passes. And if you add the B's and C's, they can't match the A passes. Of course, that is because more than half are A passes. And the failure rate is like almost non-existent. The only failure that we had, okay, now you might be asking why include this failed student in the list, right? because we don't have anything to hide. We are truthful people. History is the truth, right? History is not something that you can make up, right? History is the truth, so we have to be truthful in the class. Okay, so if we have any failures, if we have anything like that, I mean, nobody is perfect, right? I'm not perfect, students are also not perfect, right? Anybody can fail, and anybody can still become successful in life as well. Just a failure doesn't mean that he failed in life, he or she. Anyway, we have applied for recorrection. Okay, he's in our class back again. Right? Okay, so we're gonna we're gonna get it done this year. Anyway, that is because we don't have anything to hide and we are truthful people, right? We don't have we celebrate success. At the same time, we acknowledge failure, because anybody can fail in life. Abraham Lincoln failed 65 times, I think, in life, but finally he became the president of the United States of America. Okay, so if he can do that, Albert Einstein was kicked out of school for not knowing how to solve math problems, and he became one of the greatest physicists or scientists in the world, right? So that's all there, and those are the motivational stuff that you can learn from these. So 51 A passes last year. Our target was 50. We exceeded that. This year we have a target for 60 A passes in this class. I hope you can beat those numbers, right? So this is the way we celebrate our results. Okay, right. I hope this will help you understand, or this will help you get a clear idea about the performance of the class. You see, the performance of the class is basically, it's like an A club, right? We mostly focus on the A passes that we are, targeting on. So of course we can get there, right? Yeah, easy stuff. This year also is going to happen. And then next up, I'm going to show you, like I promised, I'm going to show you a bit of a comparison between the last or the final target paper that we gave last year and the actual paper that came in O levels for history. Okay. Yeah. The next comparison is about that. Okay. I hope you are waiting to see this. All right. Okay. This year I'm trying to do even better, a better job, right, than the previous year. Okay, every year I want to be better as a teacher, right? Okay, that is also there. One thing is very clear, one thing has to be told very clearly. I didn't start teaching history just to be a normal history teacher. I started teaching history in English medium to be the best in the country. Okay, to be the best in Sri Lanka. If, like, I will do everything that I can do. I will improve myself every single day, every single year, to become the best in the business. And I believe I'm already one of the best in the country, if not the best. You know, right? You know for a fact. Yeah, if you watch YouTube, and if you know for a fact. Yeah, but we don't want to brag, we don't want to, we let's be humble. But I want to be the best, and I want you to be the best. If you be the best, I'm already the best, right? Like, that is how it works. So every single year, I will improve myself. Every single year, I will work very hard to become a better version of myself, and you will also do that, right? Every single day, every single year in your life, starting from here, right? Okay. So this is what we did last year. Okay, this is the hard work that I did. I would say this is the predictions that I did. More predictions are there, but you can't put everything here. Certain things we told in seminars, and these units will come, study these units. These are the target units, these are the map marking places. Yeah, those are there, right? But these are a few. We can't discuss everything. But yeah, I'm going to show you a few so you have a normal idea about what we do in this class and what we can give you in this class, right? Okay, so you can see some questions are very close to each other, like the same concept but very close. Some questions are like, straight away copies of what we gave, right? Yeah, like this, straight predictions. Some are little, indirect. You can see that here. So you can see the The first question here, you can see that it's a little close, if you compare first question from O-level question paper, and then we gave a target question here in paper number 2 actually. So here it talks about the same thing almost. The O-level question was this: what is the literary source written by Mahanamathera which is helpful? Then we gave a question that is like very similar to what's there in the O-level paper. Yeah, so it says here. So Mahavans is included here, so that is why we put it here. And let's go down. Let's see the next one. Paper number 1, question number 4 in O levels, and paper number 1, question number 6 in our target paper. Right. You see the O level question: the maintenance of village tanks in ancient times had been assigned to. Okay, it's talking about the village tanks and who's responsible for maintaining village tanks. Right. Then our target question covers the whole area, right? It says column 1 indicates the leaders of the society, column 2 indicates their roles, right? So here you can see that here. So that is another big area that we covered in the target paper. Then you have another target question here. You can see paper number 1, question number 9 from the O-level paper, and the target paper we gave question number 4, part 2. Yeah, you can see that they are very similar. The O-level question is: consider the following measuring units. This is from unit number 5, grade 10. And it says Gauva, Pala, Yoduna, Amuna. So among them, what is the answer which contains only the measurement units used to measure distance? Yeah, you can see Gauva and Yoduna. They are the answers, right? Like this. So here also we try to cover the same area, in a target question, and then we can see another question here. What is the main reason which led to British who arrived in India not to pay attention on Sri Lanka until the middle? Okay, this is the O-level question, and look at this. This is our target question. Which of the following is not a major reason for the British to focus? So same thing, right? Same thing came in the MCQ papers. What we targeted here. More questions. Okay, we have given so many questions last year in our target paper, right? The same questions or very similar questions have appeared in the O-level paper. That is what I'm showing you here, right? Then answer question number 35 with reference to, okay, safeguarding the fundamental human rights, discontinuation of constitutional links with the British Empire. Okay, this is about the 1972 constitution. Yeah. And then our target question is exactly about the 1972 constitution once again. You can see they're very similar. And then another question here to compare. You can see the map marking, the map marking stuff. This is the O-level map marking list for Sri Lankan places, 12 places here. These are the target question papers places, okay? Yeah. So let's, you can see, you can compare and see how many are there already here. And then look at this. There are more questions, right? There are a lot of questions that we gave. You see, write 4 main components of a tank, O-level question last year. And then we gave a target question. State 3 technological parts of a tank, right? So 4 main components, O-level question, 3 components, our target question, right? Yeah. So that is the, and then look at this O-level question and target question straight away, okay? Are single kilometer gediya bitin then, all right? Like, I mean, whatever we predicted exactly came in the exam, okay? So we gave this question in our target paper. You can see target paper, paper number 2, question 5, part 3. This is the target question that we gave. This is what came in the exam, okay? So with reference to two factors, briefly explain the significance of the reign of King Kirti Sri Rajasingh. I told like several times Kirti Sri Rajasingh is gonna come. Last year it came, right? This year also I'm gonna tell you which king is gonna come, and you're gonna write it. Okay, game right? Yeah. So explain the importance of the reign of King Kirti Sri Rajasingh with reference to three facts. Okay, right? Two facts, three facts. That is the only difference. Question is the same, right? Yeah. And then again another question about another king. Yeah, same question. Okay. State two challenges faced by Vimaladharma Surya the first soon after he came to power. O-level question and target question we gave in the last paper. Explain under 3 points the steps taken by King Vimaladharma Surya the first to overcome the challenges he faced. Same question, yeah. What can you expect? How about those 51 A pass? Can there be less A passes? That is the question. Okay, when we give questions like this, there can't be lesser passes than that. Of course, we train you, you know, with the questions and answers. Okay, yeah, right. That is the okay. This is the cheating part. Okay, this one we will do in the last final exam. Okay, yeah. But I'm just showing you right what to expect. Nothing else. But our hardworking part starts. That is there. Without hard work there's no achievement. So don't always expect these type of easy stuff. We will do the hard work first, then I will give you this for this year, right? I'm showing you this for the last year, right? Yeah, I will give you this year, but first you have to do the hard work. That will take 3 months. Okay, yeah, two classes per week, and for the first 2 months. After that we're gonna get into cruise control. Then you will get these questions, right? We'll discuss about that when the time comes. Then another question. um, State the three kingdoms which existed in this country at the time of arrival of the Portuguese. Okay, little similar question here. You can see that here, little similar, same area. And then another question here, same question. Okay, you can see that here. O-level question is paper number 2, question 7, part 3. O-level question, describe with reference to two facts the executive committee system established under the Donamo Constitution, unit number 4, grade 11. And target paper, paper number 2, question 6, part 4. Explain under 3 points the changes introduced under the Donamo Constitution in 1931, right? Yeah. So very similar, like, the same question. I mean, little broad here in our question because it's a 6 marks question, but it was a 5 marks question in your O-level paper, right? So those are some of the questions that we gave that came in the O-level last year. I just wanted to share with you so that you know what we are capable of, what we can do in the class, what we have done in the class. That is why we have good results. And but whatever it is, we will still do our hard work. That hardworking part starts from Tuesday onwards. So I will tell you how that all works after we finish setting our targets in the paper, right? Okay, right. Okay, so let's take a whiteboard. This is very easy to explain through a whiteboard, right? Okay, so first you need to know, Pute, how many marks you should score. Now I know most of you need an A pass for history. That is why you are here. First of all, I must say that whoever comes to a history class is a person who's expecting a very good pass. Okay, at least a B pass, right? Otherwise, like, some students, they don't care about history. They don't, history is at the bottom of their list because they believe that maths, science, IT, English literature, commerce, those subjects are more important than history. And it's okay to get a S pass or C pass for history. It's fine. Yeah, I don't need an A pass for history. But if you are here, I believe that you need an A pass or at least a B pass. That is why you are here in this class. That is why you chose a history class to attend, right? Yeah, that is the most important thing here. So that is why we have to do a lot of work. right? From planning, from executing, from planning, from putting it into action, we have a lot of work to do, right? So that is what we are going to do now. That is the planning part. So without a proper plan, you don't know where you are going. So first of all, you need to know how many marks you can afford to lose, or how many marks you should be looking to score to get that A pass or the B pass, right? So to understand that, you need to know the structure of the paper, the timing of the paper. Those things are must. Even though you might know about these things, but we are going to look at it from a different angle today, right? Different angle, different perspective, different POV, so that we can set our goals in a proper manner, right? Yeah. So history, O level history, it's called. Yeah. And the subject code that is given by the government to O level history is number 33. So your paper will be coming like 33E1, 33E2, like this. So 33 is the subject code, 33 stands for history, E means English medium, and number 1 is the first paper, that is the MCQ paper, right? First paper, MCQ paper. Then the second paper is called the written paper. Okay. We normally call it the written paper. Then MCQ paper is the multiple choice questions paper, as you know it, right? That is history number 1, or 33E1. 33E2 is the written paper, right? Where the essay type questions are in your favorite questions. Okay. Right. Then the MCQ paper, the duration of the MCQ paper is 1 hour. Okay. 1 hour, meaning 60 minutes, right? And the duration of the written paper is going to be 3 hours and 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes. So 3 hours will be the duration that you have to answer the paper, and they will give you an additional 10 minutes to read and understand the paper and choose the questions. Okay. 10 minutes extra time. This is called additional reading time. Okay. Because they believe that the young generation are very bad in reading. Is it true? Of course it's true. Yeah, right. They're very bad in reading and they panic. They are, always in a state of panic mode, right? When they get a paper, okay, they don't know how to manage the time, and time management is a problem for them, and they have a lot of things going on in their heads, and then that is what they think, and that is why they have been very flexible here, a little bit, flexible on you, and they have given you 10 minutes extra. But we didn't have that when we did O levels. We never had this extra reading time, this garbage stuff like that. But yeah, they give you free time. Okay, I mean, our students will use to nap a little bit, maybe 10 minutes, they can take a break. Yeah, because we target for 3 hours. Okay, we target our papers for 3 hours, right? In our class, we'll do it for 3 hours. Okay, so that we have 10 minutes extra in the exam. Maybe we can use it to double check our papers. Maybe we can have a short nap, right? Yeah, relax. Because history paper is the paper that you will be facing with a smile on your face. Trust me. I told you this today, right? Yeah. Let's see that. Okay. So MCQ paper 1 hour and written paper 3 hours and 10 minutes. Altogether, it's a 4 hour plus paper, right? So big paper. Okay. So the written paper will be given to you in the morning. So that difficult ones will be given to you first. Then comes the easy ones. All right. The MCQ will be given to you in the afternoon. So normally, the exam timetable is out in the sense the exam dates are announced. 8th December is the starting date. 10th December will be history. Okay, normally the third day will be history. First day religion, second day Sinhala, third day history. Okay, that is how it will be. So 10th December morning 8:30, you're getting this paper number 2. Okay, and paper number 1 in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, 1300 hours. So from 8:30 to 11:40, you will be doing the written paper. Then from 1300 to 1400 or 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, you will be doing the MCQ paper. That is the target. That is how it will go, right? Okay. Now, Pute, let's focus on the number of marks that are allocated in these papers, right? Okay. So the total number of marks are given out of 200. Later, it is basically divided or brought it down to 100. So all the marks will adapt to 200 marks in both your papers. So you need to keep note of that, right? And then finally, after your marks are determined out of 200, they will be brought down to 100. Okay, they will be divided by 2 to do that, right? Yeah. So MCQ paper will carry a number of marks which is 80 marks. Okay, that the weight of the MCQ paper will be 80 marks. Okay, out of 200, 80 marks. Then the weight of the written paper will be 120 marks. 120 marks out of 200. Okay, right. So that is how the marks allocation is done. So 80 plus 120 is 200. So the final marks will be out of 200. Then it will be further divided by 2 to determine your grade pass. Okay, like whether you are getting an A pass or a B pass. Now here Pute, to get an A pass, we need 75 marks out of 100, right? Yeah. So that will go as 150 marks out of 200. Yeah, minimum. This is the minimum that we need to score to get that A pass. So we always like to target that A pass. At least you end up getting that B pass, right? At least, okay. Most of the students jump over the line, but some who fall short, no problem. They settle with the B also, right? Yeah, that is also there. Not everybody can get A passes. That is also there, right? Yeah, okay. But if you try, of course you can. We have done that. So you can also do it. But again, that's also there, right? I mean, if not, we can say everybody is going to get A passes, 100 out of 100 A passes. That's not going to happen, right? Yeah, that's there. No matter how hard you try, sometimes, maybe it's not your day. Maybe a very difficult paper might come. Maybe, the paper is too easy for you. Maybe if they gave you a difficult paper, maybe you can score more, right? That is also there. Okay, anyway, we try our best and leave the rest. That is what I wanted to tell you here. So we will target for that A pass. We get it, we receive it, we accept it. We don't get it, at least we tried. Okay. What if we didn't try and we didn't get it? Of course, we don't know what we are capable of. So here, we tried, we got, we accept, right? Okay. So 80 and 120, that is the marks breakdown. Now, individually, we're going to focus on certain areas and certain questions, how many marks we are looking to score in these areas. Okay, right. Now, Pute, the MCQ paper. MCQ paper, Pute, has 40 questions. Yeah, 40 questions. 40 questions, 80 marks, ne, Pute. Yeah, that means 2 marks per question. Okay. But if you finally, do the math, it will be 1 mark per question. Okay. Out of 200, it is 2 marks per question. So 80 marks out of 200 in the MCQ paper. So you have 40 questions. So each question has a weight of 2 marks. Okay. So we are looking to score to get that A pass at least 30 out of 40 questions right. Okay. If you don't score 30 out of 40 in your MCQ, your A pass is in big danger. Big danger. Okay. Huge danger. Okay. Huge risk for you. So you always have to try to get 30 or more in your MCQ paper out of 40 questions. Okay. You can afford 10 mistakes. That is what I wanted to tell you here. 10 mistakes maximum you can afford. And if you're scoring 25, 24, okay, we had an exam, right? 3 days ago. I gave you an exam, right? How many marks you scored? You know, right? Yeah, right. That will help you understand where you stand because the paper that I gave you, it's a target paper for this year. It's a tough paper. right? You might have noticed that very tough paper. It's tougher than the O-level paper, because I don't make papers for Montessori kids. I make papers a little tough, right? We want to do little tough exams so that we O-level becomes easy for us. That is why we call this class the class of kings. We don't make you happy by giving you some kindergarten level questions and then, okay, here's the question, here's the answer, yeah, go home very happy, you smile, your parents smile, I smile. That is not how the class works. All right, we test you, we push you to the maximum limits. Yeah, then you saw that paper, right? Now you know about the class. Okay, so 30 out of 40 is the minimum that we want to score if we want that A pass. Okay, if it is less than 30, you have a lot of hard work to do to catch that up from this second paper. If you are more than 30, the more marks than 30 that you get, you are making it safe for yourself in that A pass. Your A pass zone is expanding, right? Yeah. Our students who got A passes, if you take a look at our students who got A passes, they always do 35. Game to our students, if you can score 30 in my paper, you're gonna score 35 plus in O-level paper, right? Because my paper is tougher than the O-level paper, right? Trust me. So our students, they get 35. Last time we had students who got 40 out of 40 also, okay? Yeah, 40 out of 40. Several students got 40 out of 40 in their O-levels. 38, 36 out of 40. These are very common in our class, okay? Because we cover the full syllabus from the beginning, from grade 10 unit number 1 onwards. We don't just discuss some random units here and there, random papers, random units, or like birds eating food, yeah, just a little bit and you are happy, I am happy, and they're going home, right? Like, that is not how we do this class. We do a lot of hard work. You will know what is real hard work in the coming weeks. Okay, right. So our students will score more than 30, and those who scored more than 30, their A pass is very much guaranteed. Okay, and our average student 35 is a normal, like a normal score that we have in the class, right? Most of the students. So your target should be here. So if you haven't scored 35 in the MCQ that we had, no problem. You have 4 months, right? That is why we do this early. Okay, we do these exams a little early to show you where you are, and now you are scared, and now you can start working, right? Yeah, that is the whole point here. So everybody understand with it. I hope everybody understand the target for MCQ paper. 30 out of 40 is the target. Okay. Yeah. No compromise on that. No flexibility on that. No excuses on that. We will look to score 35. At least we end up in 30. Okay, we can afford 10 mistakes maximum. Right. Now that 30 out of 40 means 60 out of 80, right? 60 out of 80. Okay, then out of 120 we need to score 90. Okay, out of 120, so that we can have 90 and 60, we can have that 150, and divided by 2 is going to be 75. Yeah, that is what our target should be. So 120, 90 marks minimum out of the 120 marks in the second paper is what we are looking at. But how are we going to score these 90 marks? That is the next question. MCQ paper very easy, right? We know the number of questions. Okay, 30 questions answered right, we're going to score 60. That is our target. But the second paper structure is a little complicated, so we're going to break it down now, and we're going to learn, we're going to target each and every area, how many marks we're going to score from each and every section, and how we are going to achieve that 90 plus marks. Okay, so that is what we are going to do next. Okay, yeah, right. Paper 2. Paper number 2 has a weight of 120 marks total. So paper 2 Pute has three sections. Section 1 or part 1 Then it says part 2 and part 3. Okay. Yeah. So part 1, 2 and 3. So part 1 Pute has only one question. That is only question number 1 in part 1. But the problem with part 1 is that it is called the compulsory question. Okay, compulsory question. You can't skip that. And it has a weight of 30 marks in it. 30 marks for the only question that is in part 1. That question is called question number 1. Okay. But the problem is that it is a compulsory question or it is a mandatory question. You can't skip that. You can skip it. You can skip anything over there. Yeah, you can skip the exam also if you want, right? Like you can skip the exam day and you can go, next day is English. Okay. Yeah, you can go to Sinhala, then you can skip history, then you can go to English. No problem. Yeah, your result sheet will have a, like this mark, absent mark. That is not an option, but right. Yeah. Okay. You got to face it. So similarly, the compulsory question, you can't run away from it. If you run away from it, you're losing marks. That is the issue here. You are not getting that A pass. You can run away, and I have never seen anybody running away from question number 1 and getting that A pass. You must score good marks in question number 1 to get that A pass, because you will definitely lose marks from part 2 and part 3. That is a different story. So question number 1 is a must to do. Question number 1 is a compulsory question which includes map marking. We'll come to that in a moment. And that has a weight of 30 marks. That's huge. Okay. Out of 120, 30 marks is huge. 30 marks is out of 200. 15 out of 100 for one question like this. That is huge, right? Yeah. You can't afford to lose it. Then, Pute, we'll come to this. We'll come to the breakdown of the first question in a moment. Then, Pute, part 2 and part 3. Now, part 2 has 6 questions in it, starting from question number 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like this. Okay. So, question number 1 is from part 1. Question number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in sequence is from part 2. And you have to select 4 questions only from this section. Okay. So, you are given 6 questions. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But the numbering sequence continues. But you have to only select 4 questions. Now you have options. Now you can play the game a little smart. Okay. So you can choose your questions that you studied. You choose your units that you studied very well or you are capable of answering very well. And then you pick up those questions, you mark those questions and start answering them, right? Let's say I chose 2, 3, 5, and 6, for example. That is why you are getting that 10 minutes extra. Okay. To read all these questions and identify your strong areas and mark the questions that you are planning to answer so that you don't have to panic in the last moment, right? Yeah. Okay. That is that. So 4 questions to be answered out of 6 questions in part 2. And in part 3, we give you 2 questions, question number 8 and question number 9. You only have to answer one question. Okay. One question. One question to be answered in part 3. Okay. Right. Let's say I chose 8. Okay. Example. So now, Pute, I have answered 5 questions here in total, including the first one is going to be 6 questions. So the total number of questions that you must be answering are 6 questions. Okay. In your history second paper. Okay. So always make sure that you answered all the 6 questions, including the first question. First question is compulsory. Then you have to select 4 questions from part 2. There are 6 questions. You have to select 4. Then in part 3, you have 2 questions. You have to select 1 question. Okay. Right. Now, before we get into detail about these part 2 and part 3, we will now discuss part 1 in detail, the breakdown of part 1. Okay. Right. So in the part 1, Pute, you have Roman again, breaking down to Roman 1, then A and B. Okay, fine, no problem. And you see, it's very clear here. You have two maps, right? You have two map marking questions. Okay. Then you have 4 random questions. And then you have 2 figure related questions. Okay. So those are the questions that you have in the first question in part 1, right? First question is the only question in part 1. Okay. So part 1 has SL map. Sorry. Sri Lankan map. So 12 places in the Sri Lankan map. Okay. Then it has the world map. 6 places in the world map to mark. Okay. So altogether we have 18 marks here allocated. Okay. Then you have 4 random questions, 4 short questions from random units. Don't expect them from grade 10 only, grade 11 only. There might be a very random questions. Okay. You need to have a general idea about the whole syllabus to answer this 4 questions. So 4 short questions from random units give you 4 marks here. Okay. Then the 2 figures. 2 figures. So each figure will have 4 questions each. Then the total number of questions are 8 with the 2 figures. So the marks will be 4 plus 4 here. 4 marks each per figure. 4 questions per figure, 4 marks per figure. 2 figures like this. And total number of marks are 8. So here we have 12 plus 18, 30. That is how the total number of marks are calculated. 30. Okay, right. What are our targets? You need to set our targets, right? You need to know what marks you can afford to lose. So world map, Sri Lankan map, our target is 14 out of 18. Okay. 18 out of 18. We have to be perfect in map mark. There's nothing like that. Okay. 14 out of 18 is the target that we are looking to achieve. We can easily achieve that in our class. We have done that, Nupate. That is why I showed you the result sheet. Okay. From the result sheet, you can see that many students achieved that. You can also do it, right? With the right amount of work. Okay. So 14 out of 18, this is a very realistic target. Okay. I'm not saying to be perfect. You still can do 4 mistakes. You still can say, I don't know 4 places in the maps. 14 out of 18 is the total that we are looking to achieve, right? Okay. So out of this, if I further break it down, 9 out of 12 for Sri Lankan map, that is our target. 5 out of 6 for world map. Okay, 5 out of 6 for world map, because world map is the easiest map for us in the class, in this class. Okay, because I'm going to teach you how to tackle that, right? So that is why I want you to score 5 out of 6 for the world map, right? No chances for that. 9 out of 12, because Sri Lankan map, there might be 1 or 2 places out of the syllabus coming as well. So no problem. We are not scared. Our target is simple, achievable. 14 out of 18 is our target. Okay, right. 14 out of 18 is the target for the maps. Then 4 short questions. Again, let's say you have a chance to do 1 mistake. No problem. 3 out of 4 is the target. 3 out of 4. Okay. Figures also, I give you a chance to do 1 mistake per figure, right? So 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4, so 6 marks, not 8 marks. 6 marks enough for us. Okay. So here we can see 14 plus 6, it's going to be 20, 23. 23 out of 30. This is our target for the first question. Okay. Everybody should look to achieve this. 22 also, okay. I'm okay with that. So anything like 22 and above, much better. So our students on an average, they score 25 plus in the first question. Okay. 25 plus is something average that we can score. Our students have done that so many times. But our minimum target is 23. So if you are getting 22 also, is okay, but you have to make sure that you catch up or you compensate, you cover that from the other areas. Whatever the marks that you are losing in one area should be compensated from the other areas, maybe MCQs or maybe essay type questions. Okay, right. So I hope everybody understood the anatomy of the first question. So now you know how to score marks in the first question, what mistakes that you can afford to do. So Pute, I will tell you the plan also. I mean, I just told you what we are planning to do, but I didn't tell you how we are planning to achieve it, right? Yeah. So for the first question, Pute, we cover the full syllabus. We cover all the essential areas in the syllabus. So these 3 marks out of 4 marks shouldn't be a problem with the stuff that we are going to cover. 4 random questions, yeah, you should be able to answer this. Like 3 out of 4 should be gettable. Map marking, Pute, we do a very comprehensive seminar, right? Map marking we do in class also, but there's only 4 months left in the in the calendar for the exams. So we might not be able to do map marking fully once again in the class, but we'll try. But we will do a seminar which is a 2-day seminar, right? Over there we're going to cover 150 plus places, like almost 200 places, world map, Sri Lankan map, within 2 days. We are going to get you do it practicals. It's a workshop. You will mark the maps and send us to check. Our team will be working, correcting your papers and everything. It's a different seminar. Okay, you should come to that to experience it, right? And after the map marking seminar, this 14 marks out of 18, it's a 2-day seminar. It's a 2-day camp, right? It's not like a normal seminar where, 2-3 hours of map marking and everybody, going home thinking that they got it. But then other places come in the exam and they get stuck. No, but we're going to learn everything about map marking in 2 days. That is the last chance that we have, or that we are giving you. Map marking seminar will be held in November, first week of November or last week of October. That we will do when the time comes. Okay, right. Then 4 short questions, like I said, we can cover it. And then 2 figures we'll have another seminar, right, to discuss all the figures. And 3 out of 4 should be gettable, right? You should be able to get 23 out of 30 if you really put your hard work a bit, right? Okay. Now, Pute, we go to the second question. Sorry, part 2. Right, part 2, we have 6 questions in total, and we ask you to select only 4 questions. You can select any 4 questions. Okay, so what are these questions? These are full questions. Okay, these questions normally or typically have 4 parts. So let's take question number 2. Let's zoom in question number 2. Question number 2 has 4 parts: Roman 1, Roman 2, like this. Okay, normally. Occasionally you have 5 parts questions also. No problem, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, we face it. Okay, we can't help it. But most of the time, 95% of the time, these questions will have 4 parts like this: Roman 1 up to 4. Okay. Now, Pute, what are these questions? What are the structures of these questions? We'll take a look at it. Then I will teach you some tricks. Okay, what you need to focus on and stuff like that. Okay, right. Okay, the trick part can wait a little bit, but first you learn how to score, or what are these type of questions and stuff, right? Okay, so Roman 1, Pute, Roman 1 has normally typically a weight of 3 marks. Normally they will ask you to write 3 things, 3 words. So Roman 1 will be word answers, questions that will have word answers. Write the names of 3 people, write the names of 3 places, write the names of 3 products or inventions, stuff like that. Okay. So you just write 3 words and you get 3 marks. 3 marks. Okay. And Roman number 2, Pute, has a weight of 4 marks. Now this 4 marks question, they will ask you to either write 2 sentences or they will ask you to write 4 words. If you write 4 words, 1 mark each per word. If you write 2 sentences, 2 marks each per sentence. Like what? Example. Write the names of 4 kingdoms in the country. Yeah, like this. Okay, then you have 4 marks there, right? write the names of 4 people who engaged in exploration, stuff like that. Okay, so 4 marks there. Or sometimes it might be like state something, or write something, state 2 reasons for the downfall of Polonnaru kingdom. State state 2 challenges faced by King Rajasingha II. State 2 objectives of Mahabali development project. State. It doesn't tell you to explain. It says write or state. Okay, so it never says explain or describe in the second question. It always will say state or write. Okay, so when you state or write, meaning that you have to write a sentence depending on the question. Okay, so state 2 reasons for the downfall of Polonnaru kingdom: weak rulers come into power and the clash between Kalinga and Pandyan clans. 2 reasons like that. Okay, so you write them and then you get 4 marks. Okay, 4 marks, 2 marks each per sentence. So you have to write those sentences completely, not a couple of words. Okay, not a couple of words. It should be complete sentences. If you write just a couple of words, you get only 1 mark. Okay, you don't get 2 marks. So sentence answers, mostly sentence answers, or 4 words or 2 sentences. So sentence answers is what we are expecting from Roman number 2 here. Okay, yeah. And then Roman number 3. Roman number 3 and Roman number 4 are your favorite questions. They are called essay type questions because they have a word called describe or explain in those questions, right? So that is where you start scratching your head, but you are very happy answering those. I know, right? You are very excited, to answer those questions. I mean, I'm talking about you in 4 months. Okay, I'm not talking about you right now. Okay, yeah, right now you scratch your heads, but in 4 months you will be so excited to see those questions in the question paper in the exam hall, because we will practice you. We will give you all the tools that you need to master the art of writing essay type questions in this class within the next 4 months, right? I'm predicting. Right? Okay, my predictions, yeah, they work, don't worry. So question number 3 and 4, they have a weight of 5 marks and 6 marks. So altogether, if you adapt these, you will get 18 marks, right? 18 marks. Now, our target here is that to score at least 14 marks out of these 18 marks per question. Okay, otherwise we're in trouble. Okay, we're in trouble. We're going to be in trouble. Okay, so 14 out of 18 is the minimum that we should target. Okay, so that can be anywhere, right? Like, I mean, when you are choosing the question, you have to choose it wise. Okay, 14 out of 18 is what we are looking at. All right. Okay, so your target must be to score maximum out of these short questions. Okay, like let's say for example 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4, or 3 out of 4, like this. But in the essay type questions, I give you a chance. We don't have to be perfect, I said, right? We always give room for error. We are not perfect. Let's be realistic. Let's have a practical target. Okay, so for the 5 marks question, I want you to have a target of 4 out of 5. Okay, 4 out of 5, which can be done. I will tell you how to do it when we discuss questions. Okay, how to easily get 4 marks out of 5. And the 6 marks question, I come down further, right? I tell you just 4 out of 6 only. I'm not asking you to score 6 out of 6, but you will do it. Okay, you will do it. I know you will score 5 out of 6. You will score 6 out of 6, but we will target the minimum, right? Which is gettable. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it, right? 4 out of 6 is what I'm expecting you to do. We can easily do it. I'm going to show you how. Okay, so 4 out of 6, 4 out of 5, this is what we are looking at. So here we lost 3 marks already, and but we still can lose 1 mark here. So we still can score 14 out of 18 here. I hope everybody understood this. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and we will give you like a small time gap to ask your questions and stuff like that. Okay, so just a quick reminder, if you have not renamed yourself properly, if you are using fancy funky names, please rename yourself with your correct name, with your proper names. Otherwise we might you know yeah, like remove you from the meeting. Okay, yeah, we take discipline a little serious. Yeah, so we don't want any special character names. Okay, yeah, all right. So that is the target. Okay, so this is how it's gonna work. So this is the same way that you're gonna this is the same way that you're going to score in all questions. Okay. So now let's take a look how many marks that we can score like this. 14 out of 18, right? Like 14 out of 18. Then there are 5 questions like this. There's one more here, right? There's one more here as well in part 3. So altogether 14 times 5 is going to be 70 marks total. Then we scored 23 marks here. 70 plus 23 is going to be 93. 90 is our target, right? Yeah, 93 is more than 90. So you understand how we are planning to score here. Okay, so I hope everybody got a clear idea about setting targets, right? And before we go for a break, I'm gonna show you something important. Like I said, I told you that I'm gonna show you a small trick. Yeah, okay. So for this today, we will take a look at the 2025 paper, right? 2025 O-level paper. This is the latest paper to understand these things better, right? Okay. So you can see here, this is the latest paper. This came last year. 33E1 is the number. Like I said, this is the first paper, the first MCQ paper. And then we go to the second paper here. 33E2 is the number, like I said before. So the instructions are very clear. Question number 1 in part 1 is compulsory. No skipping that. Answer 4 questions from part 2 and 1 question from part 3. It says the instructions are very clear. Total number of questions to be answered is 6. That is also clear. Then part 1 pute, we have part 1, we have A, the map marking section. We have Roman 1 and 2, Sri Lankan map, Roman 1, world map, Roman 2 here. You can see that here. Then you can see random questions here. 4 random questions under B. You can see that here. Random questions from different units. You can see 3 questions here. 3 questions here from unit. 3 questions here from grade 11. 1 question from grade 10. Okay. You can see that here. The first question A is only grade 10. B, C, and D from grade 11 stuff. Yeah. And then you can see mostly these pictures. Both the pictures this year came from. Yeah, one picture from grade 10, one picture from grade 11. Yeah, you can see that here. So there's a mix, right? They try to do a balance. Okay. Yeah. And the trick here, I told you I will tell you a trick, right? Yeah, that is in part 2. Okay. Yeah. So part 2, Pute, there are 6 questions. You can see them here. And let's quickly see what units these questions have come from. So you can see the second question. Second question is from grade 10, unit number 2. Grade 10, unit number 2. Third question is from grade 10, unit number 3. Grade 10, unit number 3. Okay. Fourth question is from grade 10, unit number 5. Grade 10, unit number 5. Okay. And the fifth question is from grade 10, unit number 8. Grade 10, unit number 8. Okay. All right. The sixth question. The sixth question is from grade 10, unit number 10. Okay. The seventh question from grade 11, unit number 4. Sometimes there might be a combination also, grade 10, few units combined together, stuff like that. But what is the trend that you saw here? What is the trend, Pute? Grade 10, grade 10, grade 10, right? Yeah, that is what you saw, right? So that is the trick, okay? So if you know, let's say there are 18 units in the syllabus, okay? There are 10 units in grade 10 and 8 units in grade 11. Let's say you focused only on the first 5 units of grade 10, okay? No need to even study full grade 10, Okay. Just focus the first 5 units of grade 10. Example. First 5 units only. Unit number 1 to 5. Okay. How many questions you can answer with only 5 units? You can answer this. You can answer this. You can answer this also. How many marks there? 18, 18, 18, 54 marks. 54 marks out of 200. 27 marks out of 100 from just first 5 units of grade 10. That is the trick here. So do not skip the first 5 units of grade 10. That is what you skipped, because when you started grade 10, you did not know the gravity of that, right? And you didn't do it properly, and the way they taught you these units, you never understood anything, and it was boring as well. The first 5 units of grade 10. Okay, let's be very frank, right? But it is the first 5 units of grade 10 that will bear a lot of weight in the exam paper. Okay. If you take the MCQs, put the 10 MCQs will be from grade 10 first 5 units. 10 marks. 10 marks there. So we are looking at around 37 marks, 30 more than 35 marks in the question paper. More than 35 marks in the question paper from the first 5 units of grade 10. Okay. Yeah. So forget about everything else and first you cover the first 5 units of grade 10. You will be in a very strong position. You didn't do that, I know. Because you couldn't do it. You didn't know the importance of it. Now you know, right? Yeah. Other questions, all the other 13 units will cover only 60 marks, 65 marks. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is one trick that you missed. Now it's time to focus on that. Okay. So now let's say, for example, you did only grade 10 first 5 units and then Candian Kingdom by chance, you like Candian Kingdom, I like Candian Kingdom, and I make you like Candian Kingdom as well in the class. Normally that is what happens in our class. You will fall in love with Candian Kingdom because I love Candian Kingdom already. I will make you fall in love with Candian Kingdom. Don't worry about it. So let's say by any chance, like by chance, you also, got a chance to do Candian Kingdom very well. That will add up to your marks, right? Like another 9 marks, okay, more 45 plus marks here from just 5 units. Then the other knowledge that you have from all the other units can be used smartly and you can go for the day pass, right? That is the beauty of this. All right. Okay. Now part 3, you see, Uday, part 2 of the paper is mostly grade 10 stuff, but sometimes, there will be 3 questions from grade 10, 3 questions from grade 11. But you only have to answer 4 questions, Devute. So 3 will definitely be from grade 10. Okay. 3 might be from grade 11. Oh, in this case, 5 from grade 10, just 1 from grade 11. Okay. So even if you know only grade 10 stuff, you can still score maximum marks in part 2, right? Only you study the grade 10 book, no problem. But you can still score maximum marks. Yes, because you can answer all the 4 questions from grade 10 stuff only, right? Yeah. Then you come to the third part. The third part is about world history. There are 4 world history related units. Okay. Grade 10 unit number 9, world history. Okay. This is called Renaissance in Europe or just Renaissance. Grade 11 unit number 1, Industrial Revolution, world history. Grade 11 unit number 7, significant revolutions in the world history. Grade 11 unit number 8, world wars and conventions, right? World history. So these 2 questions will be from these 4 units. Okay, these 4 units. So all you got to do is study 3 units very well. Study 3 units very well. Because you can answer 1 question, right, out of these 3 units. Yeah. Because any 3 units, okay? Yeah, right, like that. Any 3 units, 1 will come here, right? Any 3, pick any 3 units you like out of these 4 units I told you. You can still answer one of these questions, right? Because there will be 2 units only here. So you have to pick one here out of world history. So there's another trick. Okay, that's another trick. So you can focus on those type of things. First 5 units of grade 10, 3 units from world history, your primary focus. You can save a lot of time trying to do that. And go through the notes, go through the papers, go do the papers with us. We when we do in the class, with all those work that we are planning to do, the target setting is now done, and things are gonna be very easy. Don't worry about it. And we're gonna go for a short break, and we're gonna be back. I'm gonna explain you how the class works, what are we planning to do each and every day, and how are we gonna achieve that A pass. We're gonna discuss after a short break, and yeah. So this is the breakdown of the paper, and this is the setting of the target. And we are open for any questions before we say bye for a short break. Okay. So we are open for any questions that you might have now. Yes. Any questions with it? You can unmute and talk now. Yes, we have changed the settings. Yes. Anybody have any questions with it from the stuff that we discussed so far? Is the target setting very clear? Any questions?
No, sir.
All good? All right. So the targets are very well set, right? Yeah. 30 plus in the MCQ paper, 90 plus in the essay question paper or written paper. Each and every question, each and every main question, 14 plus marks, 14 no above. And the first question in the written paper, the mandatory question or the compulsory question, we are looking to score 22 plus 23 plus. Okay, 22 plus is also okay. Yeah, 22 minimum is also fine. Yeah, okay. So you know the number of mistakes that you can afford. You know the weak areas that you can focus on when you do papers like this. You will understand your weak areas, your weak units. You can focus on those. So we have to play the game a little smart now in the next 4 months, because we don't have all the time in the world to do everything from the beginning. But we have a nice plan to do maximum we can do, right? We will discuss about that plan after a short break of 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, we'll be back. Marapude, welcome back. Okay. So right now we'll focus on the second leg of the seminar today. We'll focus on our plan, right? How the class is conducted, how many days a week, what are our timings, and what are our plans in the coming weeks, right? So that is what we are going to discuss now. And a few things about the discipline of the class and how we are conducted and how we expect you to, you know, behave, and also what are the services, what are the supports that we are planning to give you. you know like we have been supporting our students in many ways in the past few years. So every year these services improve, or I want to take these services to the next level. We'll talk about those things now, right? Okay. So first of all, the class days and timings. Okay, right. So today is a Saturday, and today is not a permanent day in the class. Okay, so our class, the permanent day of our class is Tuesday. Tuesday from 8 o'clock to 10:30 is the normal plan, right? So when I say 10:30 is the normal plan, the class might go on till 11 o'clock, sometimes 11:30, 12 o'clock also, right? Depending on the workload that we have to achieve on that particular day. Okay, but we will give you breaks every hour. We're going to give you like 5 to 10 minutes breaks. If the classes are very long, we're going to give you little longer breaks, 15-minute breaks like this as well. But normally expect that the classes will be dragging a little bit, right? Most of the time. Okay. I mean, if I'm healthy, right, I can do until, tomorrow morning also. But that is not the case here. We try to achieve our targets per given day. Okay. So that is why sometimes the classes might be a little long, right? Don't worry, even if the class is too long, you can log out of the class and you can come back and watch the recording later. So all our classes are recorded and uploaded to the Google Drive right after the class ends. Okay. So right after the class ends, you can see the recording will be there within 5 minutes. The recording will be posted in the Google Drive. Okay. So that is how the class days and timings work. So there's another class on Saturday. This is what we planned for this week, but I was not well, on Tuesday to do the opening seminar. So that is why we are doing the opening seminar today on a Saturday, right? But Saturday, the extra class is also planned from 8 to 10:30 p.m. Okay, so all classes are in the night. Okay, night. Okay, these are PMs, right? We don't do classes in the mornings except for seminars. Seminars will be mornings or full days, right? That is a different story. Okay. So these are the two class days and timings that we have planned. And the Saturday class will be for 2 months only, because we're going to keep a very nice lead. And then I'm going to have the class only on Tuesday, because we're going to reduce the workload from there onwards, because we're going to keep a lead. We're going to cover a huge part of the syllabus. Then we have little work to do, right? We're going to move on to cruise control, and you can focus on your other subjects and all in the last 2 months. So we are looking at only the first 2 months. Okay, so until end of September there will be Saturday classes. After that, I hope we can give up on the Saturday classes, so we can continue with the Tuesday classes. We can extend the timing a little bit, and then we can continue with the Tuesday's class. That is the plan so far, right? Hopefully Saturday class will not continue until your exams, but Saturdays will be sometimes required for seminars and extra sessions here and there, right? For the first 2 months there will be Saturday classes. All these classes are recorded. Classes are held via Zoom. They are live streamed on YouTube, and those links are basically uploaded to the Google Drive. I will show you the Google Drive that we have made for you. So that will be upgraded. The existing students will also continue enjoying the Google Drive. Then we will have a separate folder for the revision class. Those things we will discuss. But these are the class days and timings. Okay, right. And fees. As a policy, I don't speak about fees publicly, right? Yeah, I never speak in any meetings or anything like that, the fees, right? But uh, there's fees, of course, and it's a monthly fee. And we charge an admission fee from the first joiners because we give them the full set of recordings and the tutes from the previous classes, and that is how it's gonna work. The amounts and everything we will advise in the groups appropriately. Okay, right. Then Pute, the conduct. Okay, the conduct or the behaviors. We expect high standards of behaviors from our students, okay, in the class, because we named this class the class of kings. So we expect you to follow certain standards, a few standards, basic standards. That is, do not disturb the class, do not cause any noise in the class, especially keep your mics muted when you are not talking, when you are not answering any question. So mics must be muted. Watch for your mics, otherwise you might be removed from the class. Then Pute, the next thing is that no bothering other students, okay? So I don't want any complaints like this guy is messaging me, this girl is messaging me. I don't want these type of things to hear. Severe disciplinary action will be taken if I hear those kind of things. Our students don't do this because we follow high standards. So we very rarely see these type of things. We have taught hundreds of students in the past 5 years. I saw only a couple of cases like this. Those things were solved very easily. I hope you all will adhere to the same standards that your seniors have been adhering to for the past 5 years. For the past 5 years, no complaints, no significant complaints. I hope you will also follow the same standards. Okay. This we believe. We make friends, we can make friends, we can meet new people. It's a different story, but bothering or bothering others or these kind of things cannot be tolerated. Okay, so those things must be um, kept in mind. Okay, and at the same time, if you are not coming, like for example, if you are not coming to the class or something like that, it is your responsibility to tell the teacher or tell or get permission. If you are skipping any month or anything like that, because it's an online class and we give you access to all tutes and recordings even if you come to the class or even if you don't come to the class. So if you are skipping any month for any reason, tell me in advance. Otherwise, you normally have to pay the fees for that month. That is how the other students are doing. So you will also have to follow the same standard. Okay, this is a basic standard, right? Because otherwise, if you told me earlier, then okay, you can skip a month or something like that. But I think only 4 months left, and you can't afford to skip any months right now, and we don't encourage that either. It's like it's a free door, right? You want to leave the class anytime, you can leave the class, no problem, no questions asked. If you want to join the class, of course you can join these 2 months. We are not taking any students after end of September. Okay, end of September is the deadline for new students to this class, and we are not recruiting any new students after end of September. Okay, yeah, that is the deadline, right? So even if you left the class, you can't join again after end of September, right? Yeah, okay. So that is there. And then Pute, we give you work, right? See, we have a few things for to show you. The Google Drive I will show you, and then there's another WhatsApp group. Okay, work uploading group. This is called. So every week Pute, we do see we what we will do here is that we will give you some work to do, and then not every week, sometimes like 2 or 3 times a month, maybe every week also, depending on the lessons that we do and the targets that we cover and the papers that we do. It depends, right? So we give you some work. If we give you some work, you try your level best to do that work and put it in the work uploading group, which is a separate group. Okay, we have a separate group called the work uploading group, and we have volunteers. We will hire volunteers every year. Last year there were like 12 volunteers. This year also there will be volunteers. You know who are these volunteers? Volunteers are your seniors who were in this class and who got A passes for history in the previous year's O levels, right? They are the volunteers, okay? They are called the crew, right? King's crew. We have named them the King's crew. So you are the kings, right? We are the class of kings, right? So you are the kings and your crew will be them, right? Like it's like cabin crew. They will help you mark your papers, mark your maps. A tremendous amount of work was done by our volunteers last year. A huge credit should go to them for supporting all these students get their A passes as well, right? So your work will be checked by myself plus the volunteers. They will be marking your exam papers as well. And those things are done through our volunteers, and they will also be available to help you when required. And try to make maximum use of that service, okay? Because we don't bring those volunteers for free. I invest a significant amount of money from the fees that you are paying to compensate the volunteers, okay, so that we can give you a very good service, right? Make maximum use of that free service that we are giving you, right? I mean, addition to the fees that we are charging, we are not charging anything extra for checking your work or giving you feedback or anything like that. Even though the class has more than 100 students right now, we will make sure that we check the activities that you do in the class, okay? So that is some free advice, free services that we provide. Try to make maximum use of it, okay? Right. Then Pute, yeah, so those are the procedures that I just told you. And then we will come to the plan how the class is conducted and everything. So normally, Pune, we have this class is called the revision plus paper class. Okay, revision plus paper class. So we will do theory revision first from every unit, and then get into the papers. Okay. So one of the biggest misconceptions, one of the biggest misunderstandings that many students have is that paper class should do only papers. Now, to do papers, Pute, you need to know something, right? And if you don't know anything, how can you do papers? That is the question. That is the problem, right? So, you need to know why we are doing papers first. Okay. First of all, we need to know the theory parts. If you know the theory parts very well, you might not even have to do papers because you can answer any paper if you know the theory part. If you know the theory, you can answer any question, right, from that area. Yes, you don't have to do papers, okay? But we do papers for two reasons, okay? We revise the theory parts because we need to know what we need to know, right? Without the theory is the input, okay? So without putting something input, how can you take it out, right? Like for example, without reading a book, how can you write? Okay, how can you generate ideas without you having any ideas in your head? That is impossible, right? So similarly, revision is basically the revising of the theory parts. So without theory, there's no foundation. Okay. And the papers, we have two goals in doing these papers. The first thing is the confidence. Confidence. When you do papers after each and every lesson, after discussing or after revising a lesson, we do some papers from that lesson. Okay. That will give you confidence. Why? Because when you see the question, you know the answer, meaning that you have revised the unit very well. That will boost your confidence. Now you know you have studied well, you're on track, you're happy. At the same time, the papers will also help you in timing. Timing, okay? When you are doing past papers, Pute, you have to do according to timing. You're just doing past papers, just you're writing, no clock watching, nothing. No, you need to know how many minutes per question, how many hours per paper. You need to know this. Otherwise, there's no point of doing papers. So, papers means Puten, there are two types of papers. The first paper type is called the past papers. There are plenty of past papers for us to choose from, right? Then the model papers or the target questions, right? Model questions. How? This is the smart and the genius part, okay? We'll come to these points when the time comes, okay? Past papers we'll do regularly. Model papers we will do from target units. I will tell you when we discuss a target unit, whenever we are going to start a unit, I will tell you this is a target unit for this year, or this is not a target unit for this year. I will tell you, right? Then you know how to focus on those areas. Even though I told you this is not a target unit, there might be a chance that it might come. You never know, right? So be ready for that, right? All units are target units because it's part of the syllabus. All the questions are taken from the syllabus. So meaning that all units are target units. But there are few units that are most probable to come. Those things we will discuss. Okay, don't worry. So past papers and model papers or model questions, they are the two types that we will be focusing on. Model questions not all the time, but specific targeted units. Past papers, yeah, of course, to improve your confidence, to improve your timing. Yeah, okay. Those things will be done in the class. Okay. So like I said earlier, there will be more work. When we do papers, you will do papers in the class according to timing. We'll give you timing. Okay, in the paper class we give you timing. Okay, we ask you to write answers, not like you can do it from home, you relax, you can do it at your own convenience. No, but this class is a working class. This class is a hard working class. Okay, so you will be doing some hard work here. If you are not ready to do that, please make that decision. Okay, don't join the class at the first place. You can just find another class which doesn't do any work, and then okay, that is your choice. Okay, but we are the class of kings. We do hard work. Then we come to the smart working part and the cheating part. That is when the time comes. I will give you what are the target units and stuff like that. That's a different story. So that those are the basic things that I just wanted to tell you. And when the class goes on, we can't tell you everything now. Let the class start. Okay, then I will tell you what we are expecting, what we are planning, and what are our plans, and how we are going to catch up with those units and stuff like that. But timing is very important when you are doing papers. Okay, now how do you know the timing? Yeah, like for example, MCQ paper, 40 questions, 1 hour, normally 1 minute per question. That is what you should be spending, right? Some questions you can answer in 30 seconds also. Then you have extra time. So there will be difficult questions that you have to think for 2-3 minutes. So you have 20 minutes extra for that as well. So in O levels, in the MCQ paper, we have around 10 questions, MCQ questions that will be very tough. That will at least, make you think for like 2 minutes. Keep an eye on that. Okay, keep an eye on that. Keep your timings on those. Okay, yeah. So don't need, when you're doing the MCQ paper, no need to watch the clock all the time. But from time to time, you have to watch whether you are doing it in the right speed. Okay. Then put in the second paper again is a very simple thing in the second paper. I told you 3 hours and 10 minutes. Forget the 10 minutes. Okay. Forget the 10 minutes additional reading time that is for reading. Forget this 10 minutes. Let's say there's only 3 hours. 3 hours to answer the paper, right? Anyway, there are 6 questions. So 3 divided by 6 is going to be half an hour per question. That is your target. Half an hour per question. So when you are doing these questions, make sure that you are doing within half an hour. Okay? Within half an hour. If you are not doing within half an hour, you are in trouble. If you are taking more than half an hour, you are in trouble. Some students write huge explanations, lengthy, long explanations to these questions. Okay, 1.5 page. When I ask, why are you writing these long answers? My teacher told like that. Okay, then how long does it take for you to write this? Half an hour per question. So 1 hour for one question, that you are in huge trouble. Okay, you have only 3 hours. Okay, so it has to be like this. Just a couple of minutes each for these two questions. Couple of minutes each. Let's say 5 minutes for these two questions. Okay. Then 10 minutes for this question. 10 minutes. Then 10 to 12 minutes. Let's say 12 minutes for the fourth question. 10 minutes for the third question. 12 minutes for the fourth question. Then you do the math, 27 minutes. That is well within the limits. 30 minutes is our target. Okay, you take a couple of minutes extra also, no problem. So this is your target, okay? 10 to 12 minutes per essay type question. If you feel like you're writing too much, you will know from the timing, right? From the timing, you will know, right? Oh my God, I'm spending too much time, and then there might be more questions that I can answer very well, and I'm gonna run out of time, right? So keep an eye on your timing, keep an eye on your watch, right? Very, very important, okay? First two questions, few minutes, but the two essay type questions, 24 minutes, 20 to 24 minutes maximum in total. Okay, so you have a couple of minutes to revise as well. 10 minutes is the ideal time to have for an essay type question. So 5 minutes per paragraph, more than enough. 4 minutes per paragraph. See, explain three features, three paragraphs, 4 minutes each per paragraph. 4 to 5 sentences per paragraph. Describe two changes that took place in the life of man during proto-historic era. Two changes, two paragraphs. One change, one paragraph, one change, one paragraph. Simple as that. That is how you explain something. Simple as that. I will teach you how to do that. We will do that practically as well. I'm telling the new students, our old students already know this. All right. So those are some of the things that we are planning to do in the class. And then Uday, this program will go on. We will start from unit number 1, grade 10. We will cover the full syllabus. Okay. There's no shortcuts. I don't believe in shortcuts. I believe in the hard work. Once the hard work is done, we will do the shortcuts, we will do the cheating part. That will happen when the time comes. Okay. Right now, our focus will be on the hard working part. So, what are we going to do? We're going to start from unit number 1, grade 10. We're going to revise each and every unit from the beginning. Once we finish revising one unit, we're going to go into papers from that unit. Papers means if it is a target unit, we will do target questions, or target questions can come in the final exam as well. I will reserve some target questions for that as well. Then we will do past papers to make sure your timing is right, make sure your memory is working very well. We will do those. Okay, right. So we will cover the whole 18 units that way gradually. If there are any extra classes needed, I will let you know when we go along. We try to do it. We try to do 1 unit per day, right? That is the target. Maybe long units, it can take like 2 days. To revise long units, it might take a little more time. So that is why I have split the class into two, and then so we can do, things like that, right? Yeah. So that is what I'm planning to do. So our target is in the first 2 months, we are trying to finish as much as we can from the syllabus, like 12 to 13 units in total in the first 2 months. Then we have only 5 units in the next 2 months, so we can focus on other areas as well. So that is the target. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And more things to discuss we will do, when the class is going on. So I believe that's more than enough information for you to digest. So we will get started with a small part of unit number 1, right? Since we have a little time, not much, but yeah, I can't do a long class today because I'm not fully recovered as well. But Tuesday onwards, we are going to get into our normal speed, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to break